Harrison Rick and Chumlee. Austin Russell is the star of a popular TV program that were obviously anxious, and their weight breathing becoming quieter at the time of reckoning came as the last when the verdict was declared. The mood in the courtroom grew oppressive, and both figures appeared to instantly collapse. Fans left the scene, which they had never seen before. Everyone was utterly taken aback by the sight. Distinct from what they have observed in over 10 years, but what lay behind this jolt is what brought these familiar former reality TV stars. Given the high-profile nature of the case, this was more than only a court case. It was a conflict between a manufactured image and the actual problems they having to deal with. In today's video we take you on an exhilarating adventure, disclosing the details of the startling lawsuit and the reasons for the Pawn Stars. Picture is so unsteady. Look at the amazing Austin and Rick Harrison's journey. Two of Chumlee Russell's most famous personalities on contemporary reality television. The two are well known for more than just their fascinating contrasts in personality, but also for their extensive understanding of background and capacity to enthrall audiences with each Pawn Stars episode, the popular show on History Channel's Over the course of over 10 years on the radio, they have produced innumerable unforgettable instances ranging from spectacular commercial transactions to important historical findings. Their charm and genuineness have enthralled globally millions of viewers and made them recognizable to viewers globally. Their achievements have not halted on the tiny screen. Chumlee and Rick Harrison have had a significant influence on the world of pop culture, and collectibles were beneficial. Rekindle an interest in history while growing their brand and creating a Las Vegas business empire where the tourist turned into a family pawn store location for tourists from around the world. Rick Harrison's world, with his business savvy and extensive historical knowledge, transcended early skepticism to create a powerful brand out of a tiny pawn. He created a personal television shop heritage that not only provided amusement but additionally taught Harrison how to impart historical information in a simple way to comprehend. How generations of Austin Chumlee Russell's viewers, with his amiable and light-hearted manner, developed. He was the ideal balance on the show. Not just an enjoyable friend but also an essential component of Pawn's success. Stars fans thought they were observing a genuine family rather than simply TV presenters behind the scenes. They kept up demonstrate their business savvy by growing into other spaces, including dining establishments, souvenir stores, and fan interaction activities. These calculated actions have benefited them make millions of dollars by helping to the establishment of a profitable company empire. Yet nobody was able to anticipate it that a surprising legal battle would arrive with a foreboding tremor. Everything they had put so much effort into construct. Pawn Stars' overwhelming success has not only benefited Silver Pawn and Gold reaching new heights, the store has also brought a number of repercussions, both favorable and unfavorable. From a tiny, this pawn shop swiftly rose to prominence as a well-known Las Vegas tourism destination, drawing millions of tourists every year. The combination of astute business strategy, high brand awareness, and the TV show's popularity has changed them into an embodied representation of the spirit of American entrepreneurship. Alongside that halo, a number of uncertainties started to emerge when federal researchers observed a number of intricate commercial operations that covered the inconsistency between several states' legal actions, and accusations of dubious dealings influenced public opinion to stir, and tensions to keep rising. Increase in the accusations made concerns regarding the openness of company operations and how they affect the standing of the people who created the brand. Unlike many others in comparable circumstances, rather than remaining quiet and avoiding the circumstance between Austin and Rick Harrison, Russell made the decision to confront the circumstance directly. They not only made their innocuousness but even actively collaborated completely with the authorities, upholding openness in each action they took. This is an uncommon entertainment move, and the business sector, when they're ready to discuss the challenges that the investigation benefits their company and one's own reputation, it is this transparency and readiness to confront the difficulty that has produced a powerful wave of public pity from numerous individuals started to view them not as the bad guys, as although the reports were false, the victims of overzealous monitoring. This not only helped them keep the backing of their supporters, but also reinforced their faith in the openness and honesty of the individuals who created this well-known TV display. A sharp contrast when the 2020s got underway arose amid the public's clamoring of assistance and the growing legal queries as millions of admirers arrived at Austin and Rick Harrison's defense. Russell, through initiatives advocating for their behind-the-scenes exoneration, federal prosecutors discreetly gathered records and financial analysis transactions with a growing level of specificity. There were many inquiries on the potential of an intricate network of transactions that the authentic facade of the well-known pawn store. The increasing legal pressure compelled their legal team to use more advanced defense tactics, while the general kept believing in their honesty. Investigators made a shocking revelation. 2022 report that showed millions of unusual transactions. The disparity between the image of the TV hero and behind-the-scenes accusations turned into becoming more obvious that a significant turning. An internal audit provided the point. Carried out by Thomas, a forensic accountant. A complex series was discovered by Richards of years' worth of financial transactions that raised the possibility of an opaque system of transactions taking place inside the store's lawful activities. In a crucial hearing, he mentioned that there were indications that money was being transferred through legal business procedures to conceal their actual beginnings. Only a few months later, according to prosecutors, the system had processed roughly $15.7 million via shell corporations and intricate financial arrangements. These weren't your typical accounting mistakes, but thoughtfully crafted plans that, according to authorities, it had been kept up for years. According to official records, both Russell and Harrison had a key role in the plan. The new evidence, but it's still being examined and discussed, has caused the case to enter a contentious legal stage. This opening marks a significant turning point. The potential for total transformation. This is the scenery of one of the most well-known reality television appears within a few weeks following the inquiry. Taking things seriously, a number of formal. Rick Harrison was charged. Austin Russell, as well as conspiracies to make financial and racketeering commitments. If found guilty, the charges have a maximum. What struck me was the life sentence in prison. The general public was not just the character of the situation, but also the significant influence it would impact. Their established reputation as two astute, truthful entrepreneurs who were millions of people adore them for their profound understanding and candor on TV. The case soon became shocking to the entertainment sector, with numerous legal specialists stating that it might be among the most severe instances of reality TV. Court records pertaining to celebrities showed an advanced financial model that purportedly ran alongside the official internal communications of a pawn shop company from 2018 reveals that colleagues had issued warnings about the possibility of being found out, including one that read, "The existing structure poses unacceptable risks, necessitate restructuring. Necessary right away." The trial's opening day reached, and Russell and Harrison went inside. Amidst a rush of media in the courtroom, interest and inquisitive public observers, financial investigators were prepared while the prosecution team was making extensive preparations. Files, with each page bearing the burden of. After years of inquiry, the prosecutor started. This case centers on an extensive plot to launder money masquerading as a respectable company. As the evidence started to come in from financial records to look into exchanges, the environment in the courtroom grew more agitated. Harrison was always conversing with his Russell, and the lawyers appeared anxious, particularly as the accusations centered on his individual role. Is a noteworthy aspect surfaced in the testimony of the FBI agents, claiming that the signature of Harrison showed up on every document approving the shells construction businesses created to hide the flow of funds. A query was subsequently asked, did the process of building these structures need constant planning and long-term upkeep? The response from the financial expert said, yes, without hesitation. Caused Harrison to relax. Just discreetly repositioned his spectacles as Dr. Eleanor Jenkins, a specialist from Georgetown University, examined the transactions, included claiming that several of these transactional levels had no distinct business purpose other than to conceal the money source, though the defense contended that these monetary there were constructions built on the competent guidance and were entirely legal. The trial is about to conclude stages, and everyone is observing each detail that is just as suspenseful as a tight TV show. How will justice make the decision? The audience is not yet finished with the story, and waiting for the final while continuing to watch. Therefore, the trial was not merely a legal dispute, which was a demanding test for two TV personalities who constructed their professions on honesty and professionalism during the trial. Financial specialists were essential. Tracking all financial traces through complicated transactions that result in startling figures, the court said according to sources, $15.7 million was transferred. Through an intricate system of shell businesses paid $2.3 million for the system to keep up, while an additional $1.8 million was employed in accounting procedures that maybe concealed the actual origin of these figures. Only increased the amount of money, tension and suspicion in the community. On the trial's last day there were many people in the courtroom, with a few spectators holding pawn memorabilia from stars, while others wore shirts featuring the logo of the show. The mood was emotional and tense as Elelainer Blackwood was ready to give his decision following an 8-week trial involving the United States, the two defendants and the government, as though the judge started reading his decision. It was so quiet in the courtroom that you could listen to Harrison turn each page, and clearly tense, Russell did not take their gazes away from the court determines that there is adequate proof that the defendants participating in a structured financial functioning with advanced structures in order to hide where their money came from, the judge declared, causing a pause that appeared to bury the two people's hopes. Formation and functionality of a shell businesses to fulfill this function was a crucial element in the seriousness of the Harrisons' eyes widened in disbelief. Russell is pallid in the presence of their family. Looked at each other in silence with concern. After a little silence, the judge went on, given the intricacy of the plan, the scope of the public and the operation, the defendant standing in the court is forced to enforce the highest penalty. Ultimately, the decision was declared that Russell and Harrison were both convicted of every charge. Each was given a life sentence in jail along with the potential for parole following 25 years. Additionally, all assets associated with the forfeited unlawful activity and transferred to the federal government, signaling the conclusion of a well-liked and amazing television program. There was more to the episode than just a legal, it was a heartbreaking emotional drama. Insult to two former TV stars who has devoted almost 10 years to creating an empire centered on their historical image. Professionals and entrepreneurs. It seemed like a series' dramatic conclusion, but with a very distinct conclusion. As the judge went on to read the decision, the mood in the courtroom grew thick, as though everything had paused for a brief period. Of Harrison and Russell stiffened in quiet, the shifting hues of their features, and as soon as the court declared they would be obliged to make full and equitable payments, restitution, his words were absorbed. It seemed like the world in the silence. Everything around them started to become blurry. Shifted suddenly as a surge of feelings occurred, and the courtroom practically whirled. Their lawyers recognized right away the oddity. Attempting to be calm, their hands were put on their clients' shoulders. Nevertheless, circumstances had become unmanageable. The men who had once shared knowledge and laughs with now, millions of admirers, faced terrible repercussions that are both legal and physical and sentimental. This case, Your Honor, concerns a substantial financial activity. Over the confusion, the prosecutor's voice boomed. However, the announcement was cut short by a doctor's voice called out from the room. And a pressing request for paramedic assistance hurried in, forcing their way past the throng to connect with Russell and Harrison, who had fallen unconscious at the precise moment. Photographers exploited the chance to seize the two cherished now TV celebrities are being carried away on stretchers who appear scared and worn out. Their family members outside the courtroom wept and gave each other hugs as History Channel execs remained silent, refusing to communicate with reporters as they were led away by security personnel. The medical event swiftly took center stage, a focus overpowering any legal changes that were occurring. On the public's response on social media, #PawnStars and other hashtags have gone viral. Rick and Chum, Justice and #Free circulated swiftly, and people continued to share details and encouraging messages for the case spread over the world, drawing the interest of millions of people. 3 days later, people all throughout the world. Rick Harrison made a comeback, but his face remained pallid, and his soul had, though he wasn't entirely well, he had recovered his calmness. Via his attorney, Harrison sent a resolute declaration that we support our total innocence and will make use of everything potential legal channels for contesting this conclusion. The statement was brief yet accurately packed with determination, illustrating the tenacity with which fans have developed a fondness for the incident wasn't just shocking to him. Chumlee and Rick Harrison, but also a significant public tipping point view of reality TV. The unexpected turns and intricate legal changes have resulted in not just fans but also past colleagues and professionals in the television industry to start contesting the case's fairness. A few of Russell and Harrison's previous partners in company under an anonymous. The sentence has been challenged by identities considered unjust and excessively severe, and public opinion is divided between Harrison and Russell's attorneys have kept quiet about their upcoming appeal approach, but via Russell's declarations, it is evident that they are resolved to not give up easily on this battle. Is far from ended. We still have to deal with the greatest obstacle in our lives, but we continue to have faith in the truth and the appeal procedure. For the audience and media who have been closely monitoring each step in the lawsuit has started to make predictions about what will occur next. One seasoned television producer remarked, "This case has altered how watching reality TV is. The discrepancy between the public perception and the grave accusations cause people to consider the veracity of the genre. These terms don't just capture the surprise of the media but also a blatant indication that the case has sparked a conversation regarding morality and openness in the television sector. In spite of the enormous pressure on Chumlee and Rick Harrison appear to be psychologically ready for a lengthy social media. Fan forums for legal battles swiftly surfaced with a number of theories covering anything from plots and misunderstandings of activity indicators ignored throughout. The looking into their attorneys in an interview highlighted their resolve to demonstrate they're innocent. Their response demonstrates the severe shock to those who think they are not guilty when confronted with an unfair decision. We remain firm in our purpose to demonstrate their innocence in the case, which changed from a reality television tale has progressively evolved into a dramatic. The legal trip is drawing attention, but fewer than any series that is noteworthy.